This Cessna 172 has passed the uncontrolled hold for Popham's runway 26 and he's turning on to the active, commencing an immediate departure.
Oh, right, okay, alright. Well, if I don't see you...
However, the standard approach for this runway requires an offset final, meaning not only can the Cessna not see that there is a Beagle Pup on short final, but until the Cessna appears from behind the bushes and brush, the Pup pilot cannot see the Cessna starting its takeoff roll. As the Cessna becomes visual to the Beagle Pup, he decides that he will commence a go around, but instead of moving to the side of the runway, he continues flying down it, with the Cessna now climbing out and into his path. The Cessna cannot see the Pup, and the Pup pilot is unsure of the Cessna's intentions as the two now close in on each other. It's difficult to tell how close these two ended up, and I don't have access to any radio conversations. However, there was a clear risk of conflict here, and although this airfield has a non-standard approach, there's plenty of lessons for all of us to learn from this incident whenever we operate from busy, uncontrolled strips and airfields.
That's alright, adds to it.
Popham is a popular GA airfield located 60 miles to the southwest of central London. It sits at 550 feet above mean sea level and lists two grass runways, both 900 metres or 2,950 feet long, orientated 0321 and 0826. Due to a high area of ground which has a fuel station and service area on it immediately adjacent to the start of runway 26, there is a displaced threshold and an offset visual approach procedure marked on the chart and physically depicted by a white arrow painted on the ground and a checkered building at the turn point. The airfield has an air-to-ground radio service which is helpful but cannot issue any instructions, making all movements here uncontrolled.
Golf Charlie Zulu, small cruiser right hand downwind, runway 26. Charlie Zulu, roger.
So lots of traffic, but everyone's talking, so that's the good thing. Brakes are off, undercarriage is down, fixed, mixture we haven't got.
I've got my careful holding for the traffic coming down from there.
Fuel pumps on, engine T's and P's, green, green, green. Hatched, harnessed.
This is my approach to runway 26 on the day of the incident.
Golf Charlie Zulu's final, runway 26, contact 1 ahead.
Golf Charlie Zulu, roger, surface wind westerly, less than 5 knots.
Golf Charlie Zulu.
The airfield was busy as they were hosting a fly-in. The offset final starts at around a mile out, running to the left of runway 21. On this approach I've actually come inside of the marked circuit and I should be further over to my left, but you get the idea. Okay, I've paused the video here because I want you to see the high ground and the service area to my left and the bushes and scrubland that masks any aircraft that are at the very start of the runway. You can also see the white arrow and, as I roll the video on, the checkerboard hut. So that's an approach to runway 26 and it's pretty straightforward. However, you can see the hazards here, but as long as everyone is talking to each other, it's all pretty safe. So what went wrong in the incident flight? It's the afternoon and there's a flurry of arrivals as the Cessna lines up at the hold and waits patiently for his turn to depart, where he's totally visible to any traffic that happens to be on final, and even though he has a restricted view of final due to the high wing of the 172, he is still in a good position to see any final traffic. After a short wait, the Cessna powers up and pulls forward, possibly because he's seen a gap. However, he puts the brakes back on as he either hears a short final call or picks up the sport cruiser about to land. Because he pulled forward, and I'm not in the Cessna so these are my thoughts only, he has now put the wing of the 172 directly on the approach path, and so now has made it even more difficult to see approaching traffic. The arrivals keep coming, and I know that frustration of looking for a gap in the traffic when you just want to get going. After waiting patiently, the Cessna sees an opportunity to get out quickly. and he either doesn't visually acquire the approaching Beagle Pup, or he does and he believes he has time for an immediate departure, and so crosses the hold and powers up the small hill to the start of the runway, where he will be masked by those bushes from the approaching Beagle Pup. As the Cessna reaches the runway, he continues a rolling start and commences his takeoff. The Pup is now on short final and in landing configuration, and has possibly only just seen that the runway is occupied. Even though in hindsight he may have been able to land safely behind the departing Cessna, he may have just been surprised, but either way he elected to go around. And with the Cessna just getting airborne, he turns onto the runway heading and flies down the runway, catching the accelerating and climbing Cessna all the time. I've stopped the video here again because at this point the Beagle Pup pilot may not have seen the Cessna below his nose, and the Cessna definitely cannot see the Pup behind him. The Pup then appears to move to the right of the Cessna in the direction of the circuit, but then notes that the Cessna is doing the same thing and cuts straight across the front of the Pup, which then turns left and the conflict is avoided. This is an uncontrolled airfield, which means that whatever information was passed to either aircraft by the air-to-ground radio operator, it was the sole responsibility of both pilots in command to see and avoid each other. Either the Cessna has identified the approaching Pup or he has not, but he obviously believes he can get out without causing a danger or inconvenience to the fully established Pup. The CAA issued Skyway Code version 4 page 64 states under the essential rules of the air that aircraft in flight or operating on the ground or water shall give way to aircraft that are landing or in the final stages of an approach to land. So in this case, does the Pup have right of way? As you can see, the Pup possibly did have enough space to land after the Cessna had departed, so was the Cessna wrong, or should he have waited regardless? As this runway has a published right-hand circuit and a defined slight right turn immediately after takeoff for noise abatement, if the Cessna followed standard procedures, which he actually ended up doing, he would have always been turning right after takeoff. And so it would have been sensible for the Pup to have moved to the dead side or the left of the runway when going around. This would have been the safest area as long as the Pup remained below circuit height. He could then have established the Cessna's intentions from afar and any other joining traffic, then rejoin the circuit via the crosswind leg. As I said, I don't have access to any radio transmissions, and this whole summary is just my view of the incident. Perhaps you have your own, and please put your view and what you would have done if you were the commander for either of these aircraft in the comments below. I'd love to get your take on this. I haven't spoken to any of the pilots involved, but have discussed this with a couple of instructors. This is not a video condemning anyone's flying abilities or decisions. I have posted it solely with the intention of learning and for safety reasons, so hopefully anyone involved will understand. Thank you so much for watching, fly safe and Shortfield out.